In this lesson, we are going to discuss photographing your home. There are really two choices here, hiring a professional or taking them yourself. First, I'm going to talk through hiring a professional photographer. Now, I know this sounds super strange from a company that is built on the idea that you can do hard things on your own, but hear me out. While I do believe that you have the capability to take your own photos of your house, the question is, should you take the photos of your own house? This is obviously your choice, so we are going to give you the details on both options and let you make the decision. Doing all this work and going through the Resco process to sell your own home is going to potentially save you thousands of dollars. Every one of you has a different budget and different comfort level with each part of this process, so evaluate your options and make the best decision for you. Real estate photography should only set you back around $200 to $500, depending on how big your home is and the area in which you live. The photos of your home and the first impression are sometimes the most important part of selling your home. They can make your house look better or worse than it is. These photos are going to get people to take the next step of scheduling an appointment to come and check out your home or not. So it may be an advantage to hire a professional. If you do end up going this route, we have some advice. Here are my tips for hiring a professional. Take a look at their work. Ask to see all of the photos from a couple of homes they've shot, not just their highlights from several different homes. Do the colors look natural, or do they look like the photos were painted on leather? If you don't know why I'm talking about leather, please Google bad HDR real estate photography for some examples. Do the walls look square or distorted? Do the rooms look spacious? Would you want to buy the house based on the photos they took? Can you see the shadows from their flash? If there is a view, were they able to capture it from out of the windows? If there isn't a view, can you see the unattractive things outside the window? Here are a few sample photos of real estate photography done right. These photos were shot by the cutest photographer I know, my husband Curtis. You can see in these photos that the house is staged and ready to shoot. The lighting is fantastic, the images are sharp and clear, and the coloring is accurate to what the house looks like in real life. Curtis uses angles that make the rooms look spacious and inviting. He also uses a specific technique that allows him to capture the views out the window and make the exterior shots look well lit without blowing out the sky. This is not an easy thing to accomplish, and these photos are the result of years of practice and the right equipment. I don't care if you're a VSCO girl, you're not going to get images like this from your phone. Curtis does a great job photographing homes, and he's very well known in our area. He is currently charging $300 on average for a home photo shoot. Make sure to let your photographer know of any specific aspects of your home that you want to make sure are included or not included. Most photographers are on autopilot, so you need to let them know about any specific features or areas of your home or yard if you want a shot of it. If your garage is filled with junk and storage, don't get a photo of that. Ask your photographer how they will deliver the finished photos and how quickly. You'll need the photos formatted for both the web and your flyer. When you book the photographer, make sure and be ready. You don't want your photographer to help you clean up when they show up. Curtis has shown up to photo shoots where he's had to fish dead mice out of the pools, move dirty laundry, and once even had to move bags of manure in the yard to get them out of the shot. Do not schedule your photographer until you're ready. You want to be able to get out of the way and let the photographer do the work. We've included a great checklist of questions and photos to get from your photographer that you can find below this video. Okay, now tips for DIYing your photos. If you are a diehard DIYer who's not convinced that you should hire a professional and you still want to do the photos on your own, awesome, let's do this. Step 1 is owning a camera. Today we are going to focus on the camera that most people have these days, the iPhone. If you have something more than an iPhone, amazing, go for it. Most of these tips will still apply to you as well. Now, you could watch hundreds of hours of tutorials on taking real estate photos. but here are my general tips for real estate photography. Lighting. Make sure every light is on and every fan is off. Turn off all TVs and computers as well. Take your photos during the day when the natural light is coming through the blinds or shades, but be sure and prioritize the lighting in the room over the lighting of the view outside the windows. More light means a quicker shutter speed, which brings me to the next tip, focus. Make sure whatever your device you are using is focused. Don't be that person using blurry photos. Next is focal length. Do not zoom in. You want to show the maximum amount of space. Okay, lens. Make sure your lens is clean. I am notorious for this, and C-Blow always gets mad at me. I've discovered that it's actually my case. So remove your case, clean your lens. You can use your t-shirt or a napkin, really anything that doesn't have Vaseline all over it. Just make sure that lens is clean. Next, camera location. Usually you'll want to shoot from the corners of the room. Unless you have a cool island or maybe a rad fireplace that will look good head on, it usually looks best to shoot rooms from the corners. Get back as far as you can into the corner so that you can show as much of the space as possible. Try different corners of the room. When shooting rooms with a mirror, such as a bathroom, make sure you're not shooting yourself in the reflection. Make sure the phone is level. A good way to test this is to check to see if the corners of the room opposite to you is going straight up and down on your screen. Camera height. The camera should be roughly halfway between your floor and your ceiling. If you have 8-foot ceilings, you'll want your camera to be about 4 feet off the ground. Yeah, I know that this means you have to do a really awkward squat thing that might hurt a little bit, but trust me, it's going to be worth the sacrifice. Quantity. Take a ton of photos and select the best ones. You'll want around 30 to 40 good photos total. Now for the specific settings on an iPhone. Open up your iPhone app, take a look at the icons on the top of the screen. They should all be white. If they're yellow, that means that they're on, which isn't a good thing. Make sure they're white. Next is exposure and focus. Find a spot in the middle of the room that's not too bright and not too dark. Hold your finger down on the screen of the iPhone until your exposure and focus lock. Once they lock, you can slide your finger up and down on the screen to fine-tune the exposure. When looking at exposure, you want the darks and the lights to be as close to what your eyes see as possible, unless the room is super dark, in which case you want to brighten it up. Okay, editing. Don't be afraid to edit those bad boys, but do not over-edit. The easiest way to do this is in your iPhone editor app on your phone. Is it too saturated or looking too orange? Adjust the color or saturation. Too dark? Brighten it up a bit. Crooked? Use the straightener tool to make it level. Take the time to make your photos look good, but again, don't over-edit. Okay, I know that's a ton of information. We've created a little cheat sheet that's attached to this lesson, so make sure and download that and then get to work. Once you've gotten those photos, you are ready to get all of your marketing material put together. I'll see you in phase 2.